Hey guys, welcome back to the home gym. Coach Carp here, Carp's Gym. We're here taking a look at the 2G Hex Open Trap Bar from BalanceFrom. You may have even seen it as Everyday Essentials from Walmart or Amazon. Is this thing hot garbage? Is it worth your hard-earned money? Stay tuned and we're going to test this thing out. Okay, we're back. I saw a lot of information online about how this BalanceFrom Open Trap Bar was an awesome budget bar for your home gym. So I brought it in to test it. We'll just go over it here shortly. Now it's an open trap bar. The specs online are kind of wonky because it says it has a 1,000-pound weight capacity, and we intend to find out if that's true or not. Also, it says it weighs 2 pounds, which is also kind of weird. I've never seen any bar 2 pounds. I think what they meant to do was say 42 pounds or 47 pounds. But, we'll dig into that as we go. You may have seen some other bars on the market like this. I think there is Bells of Steel has a similar looking bar. And then I heard Fringe Sport is coming out with a bar soon that's going to be a similar type design. But this one, what I heard was it is lesser grade steel. And so far, what I can see is that's true. It is lesser grade steel. It looks to be a 24 millimeter diameter throughout the entire frame and handles. It's some kind of a powder coat or paint. It does have a very faint knurling. It's like they knurled the bar and then painted or powder coated over it. So this steel could even be thinner than 24 millimeter because it seems to have a pretty thick coating on there because you can't even see the knurling. I mean, it's just barely there. You can hardly feel it. And then you'll see where we used it some. It's already poking through, and then so it's rubbed off right there in those areas. It has normal 16-inch sleeves. So these are about the same as a normal regular power bar or standard barbell. They do rotate, but what you can see is it's steel on steel. There's no bearings or bushings in there. It is steel on steel, and you can see there's already there's rust, and as I got it, there's rust and things already in here. That's just steel riding right on that bar. They do have a snap ring on the end, but it's covered in plastic. It's a cheapo plastic, and you'll see it has that Asian writing, or it says made in China on the box. So I'm guessing that's Chinese. I'm not a Chinese scholar here, but I'm guessing that's Chinese writing on the back there. This is after we've used the bar. This one does not rotate anymore because after using it, it's locked up and bent. So I'll show you the design here, why it's a crappy design. Hey, by the way, these are some of the best snap ring pliers you can get on here. It's the German KNIPEX German snap ring pliers. I'll give you guys a link for those because these are awesome. If you have barbells and you like to do barbell cleaning, get you some of these. These are the same ones that Rogue uses in their barbell cleaning kit. So I'll show you real quick here. I'll pull this snap ring off. See how easy that was? I told you these are awesome. And this is just a cheapo piece of plastic. You can see when I received this bar, it is already dented in. These sleeves are more like a tin can or aluminum can type design. I mean, they're very, very thin right there. I don't know, that's probably 1/18 or something steel. Very cheap, very thin steel. Actually, we'll just measure it. Now, I'm no metallurgist, but I do have a steel guide, so we'll stick that thing in there and see how cheap it actually is. So it fits, 16 fits in there, and that's 18 gauge steel. So the 18 gauge, that shows you how thin it is. It's almost 20 gauge steel. So do you want 16 or 18 or 20 gauge steel on your barbells? Probably not. So that's what we're sitting at here. Yeah, see? It's just a little cheapo piece of plastic with that Chinese writing on the back. So yeah, definitely cheapo. Just a nut in here. So I'm just gonna undo that for you guys here so you can see what we're working with here. Show you how cheap, and I mean, it's really, really very thin. So that's what you get. You got a screw-on deal, and then see, that fell right off. And then see how thin that is? And then it's just, well, that's just very thin metal. You hear it rattling. And then look, see, it's all rusted around here, the powder coat, and that's where it's just been riding. It's been the metal, just steel on steel, just riding right on that powder coat. So not a very good design in my opinion. I don't even know if it'll line back up. But you see what you're working with there. It's a very cheap design, very cheap bar. It still rotates, but like I said, this one is locked up. It will not turn, and it's bent. You'll see how it's going down that way. So what do? We tested it. Now we put my trap bar deadlift, maxes out about mid fives, maybe 6 at the most. I've never trap barred more than that. So what I did have is my friend Rory Ellis stopped by. He can pull high 6s, 700, 800 on a trap bar. He's done it over here before. So we had him come over and test it and see what he could pull on this. And right around 500-pound mark, as we started jumping up in weight, we just added a plate per time. Once we got to 500, we started seeing a lot of flex. Loaded up about 585. He lifted it. That's when we saw a lot of flex. And that's when the bar began to bend. So permanently bend and unfixable. You can see there's a large bend here in the bar, and both sleeves go down at an angle. And I'll show you clips and B-rolls of that, of actually doing it. And then once we got that 500 pounds on there, as the weight pushed further out on the bar, the last 2 or 3 plates on the bar were touching the ground, and they would not come up. They were permanently bent, touching the ground. So it was still liftable. If you jack the bar down, it was still liftable. And every time you would jack the bar with 500 plus, the frame. Carp's Gym reporting to you from the ground here. Yeah, right. You will see the barbell. The last 2 plates are on the ground, folks. Oh, it's been. Oh, you see that on the way down? It was like would cave in and out. So we wanted to see. We put 800 and something on there and see what a person. He did like a rack pull from the top just to see what it would do with that much weight on it, and the bar just basically caved in. You'll see. I'll show you the pic of it. And then after that, it was permanently bent. It was permanently bent here and permanently bent on the shaft. And like I said, this one is bent so far you can't even get this collar on or off because the bar is bent and the collar is bent onto the bar. And that's between 585 and 800 pounds, not the 1,000-pound weight capacity that they say this bar has. Even if you could get 1,000 pounds on here, you'd probably gonna have to do iron plates. And even if you could, I don't think it would hold up because it felt on us well before 1,000 pounds. Definitely sub 800, and probably more like 500 would probably be the stated weight capacity on this bar. So if you want this bar, go ahead and get it. I'm not going to recommend it. I can't recommend this bar. I mean, I've seen some other guys out there recommend it and say, hey, this is a great bar for the price at $109 shipped is what I think what the current price is. I've seen it all the way to $299. So on Amazon and Walmart, the price fluctuates. If you see it for that $109, I still wouldn't buy it. There's so many other bars on the market, maybe for like $100 more, $200 more, $150 more, save up your money and get a much better bar. I'd much rather you do that than buy this. If you're in that $100 price range, I'd much rather you buy a traditional trap bar, not this open design. Just get you a closed trap bar. If you need a budget style bar, you need to do trap bars. You need one for your kids, or your wife likes lifting. Like my wife likes the style of this bar, but honestly, you don't want my kids or my wife lifting on it because I don't feel like it's safe. Obviously, they're not deadlifting 500 pounds plus, but I just don't feel comfortable with it. And then also on these feet have sharp edges, so they have these these rubber stoppers that go on it. But you'll see, even at these weights, it's a brand new bar, and the rubber stoppers are already starting to fail. So over time, that foot, it's just sheared off. There's no rounded or chamfer on this rounded foot. It is going to dig into your wood flooring, or eventually it's going to cut through this rubber, especially if you're getting those kind of weights on it. And this one's already oblong and misshaped, so over time it's just going to cut right through that plastic. And then you're going to have bare metal on your floor, or bare metal on your platform, and you definitely don't want that. So it just shows you all the shortcuts on this bar that were made. Even though it may look like a similar one on the market, like Bells of Steel, and like I said, I think Fringe has come out with their own version. From what I've seen, it looks to be a beefier version. So those are probably in the under $300 price range. I would much rather you have something like that if you want the functionality of this open design. You know, buy this bar at your own risk. I definitely can't recommend it. But if you want to check it out and, you know, test it for yourself, I'll leave a link down in the description. We did plate after plate, and then after about 4 or 5 plates, the bar could not handle the weight. So having the extra sleeve link on this one, I think, is actually a detriment to the bar, because it makes it easier to break and easier to bend. Because the further the weight gets out on this bar, it just wants to cave in. So this steel is not near strong enough to do half the weight capacity that they're stating. So I would not buy it. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want me to do a roundup of other trap bars and other bars on the market, especially in this budget range, I was thinking under $400 or under $300 price range, let me know. Stay tuned. Please go watch another video and go lift, baby. If you buy this bar, it's like taking $100 and flushing it down the toilet. Don't say I didn't warn you. You've been warned. This thing is a piece of monkey. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.